You are listening to Bold Dreams Held Loosely Coaching Life Edition, the go-to podcast for soul-led coaches, leaders, and healers. My name is Taryn Watts, and I am a master certified coach and the founder of the Mind Rebel Academy, an ICF-accredited coaching school where we train and support people to fully express their purpose through world-class coaching skills. Whether you're a seasoned coach or you are the go-to person for your people, if the heart of a coach beats within you, then these conversations are for you, my friend. We hope they serve you as you continue to create ripples of change that will be felt for generations to come.
How do you get paying clients for real? So when someone is a brand new baby coach and perhaps their experience with coaching has been coaching for free with some family and friends, what do you suggest for that coach finding real soulmate paying clients?
Okay, so the same is true at any stage of business. The 6 steps that I'm going to outline today is true at any stage of business, but particularly true at the very outset when you're first starting your coaching practice. Perhaps you've done your training and your first question is, okay, now what? How do I call in my soulmate clients? And not just any soulmate clients, but paying soulmate clients. How do I call that in? So first and foremost, I just want to address that there can be a perception, especially in the loud world of social media. There can be a perception that right out of the gate, you need to be charging high ticket. You need to be making, $5,000 a month, $10,000 a month, or whatever the thousand, you plug in the number. There's all sorts of preconceived notions that right out the gate, this is what we should be doing as a coach, or this is what we should be earning. And if we're not doing these things, we're doing something wrong. Must mean we're not a good coach. It must mean we're not cut out for this. And I just disagree with all of that stance. This is like anything, building a coaching practice, building a name for yourself, developing your mastery in this craft, developing your reputation, developing referrals. This takes time. And it's not overnight. And it takes time. It takes, like any entrepreneurial journey, it takes dedication, it takes devotion, it takes vision, it takes resilience towards the vision, and it takes time. I just think that's a really important mindset to go into this with. If you're looking for something really fast, sure, that can absolutely happen, but that's not the norm. And if you're looking for something really fast, it might not be the right vocation for you. So let me talk about the 6 steps that I recommend any coach following and coming back to repeatedly, coming back to and visiting these 6 steps on how to call in paying soulmate clients. So step 1 is to create a life vision for yourself. So looking at all the key areas of your life, relationships, family, friendships, community, health, wellness, spirituality, all the key areas of your life, including vocation. And spend some time inside the question, what is my highest intention for my life? What is the vision for my life? What do I want to create for myself? What are my deepest yearnings? What does a perfect day look like? How am I expressing myself in the world? Who am I surrounded by? What do I feel? Spend time getting really clear about what it is that you want. That is the North Star for your life. That is, again, taking into account all these key areas of your life, including vocation. That's the North Star. That's where you're going. That is what you want to call into your existence.
And I highly recommend, when making that vision, write it not from a place of, I think this is a realistic goal. I think this makes sense. I think this would work. Write that vision from, if anything were possible for me, this is what I would want. Because there's more power in that even if it seems farther away, or even if there's fears about, is this possible for me? There's so much more power in your true desire and not for what your mind would settle for.
How would you recommend someone getting in touch with a true desire?
A few prompts or questions are coming to me. The first one is, I think what I just said, if anything were possible, what would I want for myself and my life? There's also a quote by Mary Oliver. And tell me, what will you do with your one wild and precious life? When you think about life that way, what kind of visions does that conjure up for you? Another perspective to look at it from, this came from you, is imagine you're at your funeral and you're listening to all the people speaking about you and, who you were and what you did, thinking about just the entire concept of looking back on an entire life lived. What do you hope that life was about? What do you hope you did? That has some clues. And the last one that's coming to me that I sometimes use on myself that I find really helpful, I think about the question, what do I want that I'm finding it hard to admit to myself that I really want?
That's a good question.
Yeah.
That's a really good question.
Yeah.
Some other prompts that have been helpful for me is when I start to write out the elements of my life vision. And if there are elements in there that are more material in nature, like I want a big, beautiful house in the country, or I want a specific kind of job, or something like specific and almost material like that. And there's nothing wrong with material things, but taking that and looking and examining that a little bit deeper and asking myself, why do I want a big house in the country? Because I want to feel like I'm surrounded by nature. I want to feel like my home is my sanctuary. I want to be surrounded by natural beauty. I want to feel safety. I want to feel spaciousness. I want to feel family around my table. Like, get into the deeper layers of it that go beyond the surface level want. The why, what's beneath that, often take you to the seeds of your soul yearnings. Those are much more potent and powerful and connected to what you actually want than the surface level want. The vision is starting to come together. You don't have to have a perfectly defined vision, but start that process of really asking yourself, what is it that I want to create in this lifetime? Step 2 is to define who your soulmate client is. So within that vision and the pieces of the vision that are around vocation, who are you serving? Who is that person? What are they like? What challenges do they have? What are they yearning for? What are they searching for? What does it feel like to work with that human? And, we talk about a really important piece of these 6 steps is that paying soulmate client. Well, in this piece, they're paying you happily for your services. They see the value in what you bring to the table in the space that you hold. And they are joyfully paying you for those services. That's all part of the description of your ideal soulmate client. And I love using the word soulmate client because it goes beyond a good fit. It goes beyond an ideal client or a client avatar. A soulmate client is someone that it's like you've been put here to sync up with that human, to serve them in some way. And so get clear about who that human is. And that helps you to really define and really recognize when they come into your experience. And it's also okay to be selective. It's also okay to not serve everyone. It's okay to be for those people. That's okay. In fact, that's good.
I like that so much. What you just said, it's okay to be for those people, which also gives the permission and the freedom to not be for everyone. And I think that can be so freeing and so helpful in the process of putting yourself out there and expressing yourself. I often hear the worry. There's so much worry that comes up about, how will I be received? What will people think of me? And so much of that is out of your control. But that's so much harder if you're worried about how everyone will receive you. So I just love that piece of, what if you are deeply for some people and you will resonate with them? And so if other people don't resonate, whatever. Doesn't mean you're doing something wrong. You don't have to be for everyone.
I remember a very pivotal point in my coaching career, building my business, and realizing that and really embracing that. I had this realization that the more authentic I am in my business, in the way I market myself, in the way I write, in the way I speak, in terms of, calling in the soulmate clients, but the more authentic I am, the more I attract in those who are for me. And not only attract in, but it's a deeper calling in. It's a magnetic calling in. It's a soul sinking calling in. It goes beyond just a good fit, And the more authentic I became, the more I repelled, sometimes in a fine way and sometimes in a not so fine way, but the more I repelled other people, everyone else who was not for me. And so there is something freeing in, you are not for everyone, nor should you be. We shouldn't be here to serve everyone. So you've got your vision now. You've defined who that soulmate client is that you want to work with. The next step is to determine, what are your offers? How do you want to serve them? And so this is a process of getting creative. Like, let your creative juices come forward here and play with how you want to serve this community of humans. So your offers are literally, what do you want to offer people? Do you want to work with people one-on-one? Do you want to work with people in groups? When I was creating my offers, and I've changed my offers over the years, the big offer I had, which was at the time a 4-month container where I would meet my clients one-on-one in the Mind Rebel coaching curriculum, that was my signature offer. But what other offers did I have if that wasn't accessible to people, or if people wanted something smaller? So I would have a couple other smaller offers underneath that bigger one, and they would be aligned with how I want to serve. So it's not just, what does the client want, but it's, how do I want to work with people? How do I want to serve?
I love the invitation to creativity when exploring, what do I want? How do I want to work with people? I'm thinking about all of the different coaches that we know. And when you get in touch with yourself, you'll notice you have preferences that are different from, your friends or your colleagues. Some of the coaches we know want to work in person. Others are like, no, I want to work virtually. Some people want to work inside at a desk. Other people want to work outside with their clients. We know coaches who go on a nature adventure with their clients. And I'm sure there are so many more parameters to choose from.
So the most important thing is choosing the way that you uniquely want to serve, even if that looks different than everyone else. But choosing and claiming the way you want to serve is what's going to magnetically call in that soulmate client. When we try to customize ourselves to what other people need, or we try to bend ourselves to what this person over here needs or what this person over here needs, it can be incredibly draining, and also not the most efficient use of our capacity and what we have to offer. And so this is a very inward first, defining and claiming what it is. Again, starting with the vision. What does my life look like? Is my life at an office? Is my life in a team? Am I a solo entrepreneur? Am I outside on nature walks coaching? that's such an important thing to declare for ourselves in that visioning process versus just being reactive to what everybody else wants. Because if we're reactive to what everybody else wants, we're going to find ourselves in a position where we're not like super thrilled about our job again. And we're not like lit up by what we're doing because it's not aligned to what we truly want. And our superpowers as a coach, our unique genius as a coach, is expressed through our deepest yearnings, how this fits into the greater vision for our life. All right, step 4 is to really claim and declare who you are and how you serve. So the first 3 steps were kind of inward, creative. What's the vision? Who's my soulmate client? What are the offers I want to serve? And now it's about putting pen to paper and expressing yourself. Don't assume that people know what you're up to. People don't. People are so in their own worlds. They don't know what you're up to. It took me a really long time to claim the title of coach. When people used to ask me right after graduation what I did, I would say it in the tiniest voice, like in a whisper. I felt like such an imposter even saying that. But over time, claiming that for myself and declaring that I am a coach and this is who I serve and how I help people. Declare that to people and also make sure people have somewhere to land to learn more about you. You don't need a fancy website. It could be a single landing page with who you are, again, how you serve and what your offers are. It could be a PDF that you send to people, but there needs to be somewhere for people to land to learn more about your offers. That would be step 4, is to really start declaring that and making that known and visible to your community. I remember when I found out you had a website, you never told me you made a coaching website. And one day somehow it came up and you were like, yeah, I have a website. So it's like, even when you took the step and you created it, what was it like to even then, tell people about this website and this place they could go learn about? Incredibly vulnerable. But I knew I had to do this. Yeah. I knew I had to declare this. I was never one of those people that right out of the gate had enormous amounts of confidence and enormous amounts of just, F it, this is who I am. And it wasn't like that at all. It was like knees knocking. I'm a coach. I have a website. But every conversation I would challenge myself to show up and be who I said I wanted to be. In my vision, I am a coach. In my vision at the time, right, I had a thriving coaching practice with a full roster of clients. That was literally a line in my vision statement. I read and recited for years before I had a thriving coaching practice, for years. Yeah. And so this part of the process, step 4, is to practice being who I said I want to be in that vision. And in that vision, I am very confident. In that vision, I was owning my title as coach. In that vision, I was helping hundreds of women around the world. And so in a conversation with a friend like you at that time, that was a perfect opportunity for me to embody who I said I wanted to be, despite the fact that the thriving coaching practice was not here yet. That's a really important step. Step 5 is to connect for connection's sake. And what I mean by that is go out and talk to people. Go out and connect with people, not with the intention of converting them into a client, but with the pure intention of connecting for connection's sake. learning about the person that's in front of you that you're going for tea with, or that you've met virtually online, and talking to them. If they ask you what you do, tell them you're a coach. Bring that forward in the conversation. If they ask you how you help people, tell them. They might not be the perfect match for you, but perhaps the next time they're sitting with a friend who's going through something challenging, you might pop into their brain. I think a really important piece of this stage, when you're out there making connections, you're starting to grow your network, you're connecting with others, you're talking with others, you're networking with others. I think it's really, really important at this stage of building your business or building, the people around you, that you are not connecting with the secret hope of this person becoming a client. Even the sneakiest of secret hopes, and that there's no attachment to this person becoming a client of yours, or to make the sale to become a client of yours. That funkies up the energy, funkies up the relationship, and that is not connecting for connection's sake. So it's really important that as we're building a business, that our needs are being met, our financial needs are being met elsewhere. So it doesn't put this type of pressure on building your coaching practice. In my experience, when I was building my coaching practice, for me, that meant keeping my corporate job because we needed that to pay our bills, and building up my coaching practice on the side so that it was never desperate. I never needed you to become a client so I could pay my mortgage. That energy isn't coming from this really clear, focused, impassioned place inside of us. It's coming from something that's lacking, or scarcity, or fear. And so for coaches with a dream of building a business, that might mean getting a part-time job. We had a student once get a part-time job as a barista while she grew her business, and she did it really intentionally. She chose a job where she could connect with people. She could have conversations with people while she was growing her coaching business, so that she could take care of her needs and her bills that she needed to pay, so that it could organically grow from this place of clear energy.
Any thoughts on how to connect for connection's sake for someone who's more introverted and has less capacity for social interaction? How could they do this without draining their social battery?
So that might be and we see this a lot with introverts in writing. A lot of introverts are drawn to writing. So connecting for connection's sake might not be one-on-one conversations. It might be starting to write and sharing your writing. Maybe it's sharing it on social media. Maybe it's starting a mailing list. There's really great platforms for writers like Substack, where you can write for connection's sake. So you're not writing to convert someone to a sale, but you're writing to connect with other humans. That could be a way for an introvert to connect. And I think that's really important, again, to honor your unique makeup and what your unique yearnings for. If you have a yearning to connect with people one-on-one and go for tea and go to networking events or whatever it might be, if you have a yearning to connect in person, follow that. If you have a yearning to connect online, follow that. If you don't want any one-on-one interactions and you want to write, follow that. But connecting simply for connection's sake and not to convert someone to a sale. Step 6 is to serve with your whole heart and soul. And that means that when you do get that client and they're giving you money for, this is also true for pro bono clients, but let's say you do finally attract in that first client that is paying you money for your services, even if it's a small amount, right? Is to show up for that one client and serve that human with your whole heart and soul. And as a coach, that doesn't mean attaching to their outcome, but as a coach, that means being so present to them. It means being so extraordinary at your craft of coaching that their experience in the session is profound. Their experience in your entire engagement is profound. So much so that they can't stop talking about my coach. My coach and I talked about this, or my coach said this, or my coach asked me this question, or, oh, this is what I realized in my coaching conversation. And they can't stop talking about it to their friends and their colleagues and their family members. And that has powerful ripple effects. It's spreading through the power of referrals and just being so extraordinary at what you do. I love to, at the end of every coaching engagement, write a handwritten thank you letter to my clients and pack them a little gift and either mail it out to them or give them in person if they are an in-person client. Let them know first and foremost how much this experience meant to you as their coach, and let them know that if you know anyone else, family or friends, who would benefit from coaching, please send them my way. Let people know that you're open to referrals, that you're open for more business, that you're open to serving more incredible humans. What these 6 steps do, and I recommend revisiting them often. It's not a one and done thing. Your vision's going to change. Your soulmate client is going to change. Your offers are going to change. All of these things are going to change over time as you evolve and grow as a coach. And what these steps do is they help you to energetically align to what it is that you want. It helps you to do that through clear, focused, and impassioned energy. And I believe that clear, focused, impassioned energy, these are the magic ingredients to powerfully summoning in what it is that is most aligned to your unique being and your soul. So these 6 steps not only plug you into that energy, but these 6 steps ensure that you are practicing as a coach in like the utmost integrity. And these 6 steps help you to actually be extraordinary in your craft. And when you are extraordinary in your craft and you continue being extraordinary in your craft over time, like, success is inevitable. It might have a different timeline than you had expected. And I think that's also an important thing, is to be open to how your coaching skills want to be expressed in the world. In your vision, you might have thought it was entrepreneurship. And as you walk down that road, you might change your mind. You might realize, I actually want to work for a team, or I want to work within an organization. And so it's really important to have that vision, but hold it loosely, because that can change over time, and to be flexible and fluid in how it wants to evolve.
I'm thinking about a step that doesn't necessarily come, as step 7, but a bonus step that someone might need at any part in this journey. For someone who is traveling through these steps and they encounter moments of feeling blocked, stuck, fear, doubt, I can't keep going, it's not going to work for me. What have you found for you when you are, growing and working towards a vision? What helps you keep going?
What helps me keep going? A couple things are coming to mind. First is staying consistently connected to my vision, even when I don't feel connected to the vision. Just relentlessly coming back to that vision of what I want for my life. I personally do that through journaling. I connect to it every day. During periods of time in my life where I've disconnected from that process or disconnected from the vision, it's easy to get disconnected from that. The other thing that's coming up for me is coaching, is having a coach yourself to be able to work through those really challenging points where you want to give up. You want to turn around and go the other way. And so to have a coach where someone can hold that space for you to work through your emotions, work through your fears, work through your limiting beliefs, and hold space for that so that you can continue to find the inner resilience and resourcefulness within to keep going, to set yourself up for success, to be well supported throughout all these steps at every single stage so that you keep going.
Mm-hmm. I love that.
Thank you so much for being part of this conversation. If you are drawn to the MRA, it's more than likely that you are the go-to person for your people. You are here to deeply impact the lives of those you love and serve. And the MRA's mission is to support you in your life's work. To learn more about our suite of trainings, including our renowned flagship coach training, leadership trainings, and continuing coach education programs, please visit our website at www.themindrebel.com.